Under the relentless Klieg lights of ABC's Studio 23 in the heart of Manhattan, where the Hudson River's murmur seemed to mock the mounting tension on September 27, 2025, a date that dawned drizzly and departed drenched in digital deluge, the stage was set for what pundits would later dub the Duchess's Reckoning, a primetime parley that pitted Meghan Markle, the once and future iconoclast of the Windsor diaspora, against Diane Sawyer, the silver-maned sphinx of broadcast journalism whose interrogations have felled titans from Watergate whistleblowers to Wall Street wolves. The studio, a sanctum of sleek minimalism with its polished oak panels absorbing echoes like confessions in a cathedral, buzzed with the low hum of anticipation from a hand-picked audience of 150 media mavens in bespoke blazers mingling with everyday empaths clutching programs emblazoned with the specials teaser, Meghan Markle, unscripted and unafraid. Meghan swept in at precisely 7:45 p.m., her stride a symphony of self-assurance, clad in a bespoke midi dress from her as-ever collection, its buttery silk in a hue of sun-bleached sage evoking Montecito Meadows where she'd filmed segments for her forthcoming Netflix confessional, Echoes of Enough, a mosaic of meditations on motherhood, marginalization, and manifesting amid mayhem. Her hair, a cascade of loose waves the color of polished chestnuts, framed a face luminous with the subtle glow of La Mer and the steely resolve of someone who'd scripted her exile from Buckingham Palace into a blueprint for billions. Prince Harry, ever the steadfast sentinel, lingered off-camera in the green room, scrolling Invictus updates on his phone while nursing a ginger tea, his presence a silent bulwark against the barrage he knew was brewing. Diane Sawyer, ensconced in her director's chair like a throne of tempered ivory, exuded the effortless eminence of her 50-year tenure. A pearl gray sheath dress cinched at the waist with a Hermes belt, her iconic bob a helmet of precision-cut silver that caught the lights like a crown of conquests. At 79, she moved with the deliberate grace of a grande dame who danced with danger, from coaxing Barbara Walters' baton pass to dismantling domestic despots in prime time, and her eyes, those azure augers behind tortoiseshell frames, scanned her notes with the focus of a falcon sighting prey. The interview, billed as a fireside chat for the fraught future, was ABC's crown jewel for fall sweeps, a 2-hour extravaganza interspersed with archival clips of Meghan's suits, strut and Sussex wedding splendor, interspersed with teasers for her lifestyle empire's latest launch, a line of empowerment elixirs promising resilience in a vial. As the countdown hit T-60, directors' cues crackled through headsets, quiet on set, rolling in 3, 2, and Sawyer's opener sliced the silence like a scalpel. Meghan, you've architected an American ascent from actress to advocate, but whispers persist of a wilderness year. Tell us, in the quiet of California, do the ghosts of Kensington still graze your garden? Meghan's laugh was a lilting cascade, disarming as dawn, as she leaned forward, elbows on knees in a posture of parody. Diane, ghosts are just unfinished stories begging for sequels. Mine, I've penned the plot twist, trading protocol for purpose, and let me tell you, the view from here is vast. The audience tittered approvingly, a ripple of relief in the room's rarefied air, scented faintly with the citrus spritz of production fog. But Sawyer, mistress of the measured escalation, pivoted with predatory poise, her voice a velvet vice. Purpose as poetic, but polls paint a portrait of polarization. Some hail you as heroine, others as harpy. Was the Oprah oracle an olive branch or an opening salvo? In a war of words. Here the heat kindled, Meghan's manicured fingers, nails a nude whisper of resilience, tapping the armrest like Morse code for metal. She recounted the raw reverie of that 2021 revelation, the racial reckonings that rent the royal veil, her voice weaving woe into wisdom. Salvo. No, Diane, it was survival. When the world waits your worth by whispers, you either whisper back or roar. I chose the roar, and it reshaped the room. Applause punctured the pause, fervent from the front rows where feminist firebrands fanned themselves with programs, but Sawyer surged onward, summoning specters from the Sussex saga, the Frogmore eviction edict, the Spotify severance sting, the tabloid torrent that turned triumphs into tragedies. Roarings resonant, she conceded, a concession laced with lancet but reconciliation. Harry's memoir hinted at healing, yet headlines howl of hardened hearts. Is the bridge burned, or merely battened? Meghan's gaze, those luminous locks of lived lore, flickered with the flicker of old flames, her response a river run deep. Bridges aren't burned by one blaze, they're built brick by biased brick. We've extended hands met with hesitance, family fractures heal in fissures, not fanfare. But healing. It's happening here, in honesty like this. The exchange effervesced then, effulgent and edged, as Sawyer surfaced a salvo from the shadows. Clips of Charles's coronation coolness, Camilla's calculated calm, juxtaposed with Megan's Montecito mirth in pap-shot candids. Honesty's the hearth, Sawyer pressed, her tone a tightening tourniquet, but optics obsess. Your lifestyle pivot, from palace to preserves, strikes some as sour grapes pressed into Prosecco. How do you sip that critique without the sting? Megan's mirth morphed to metal, her posture straightening like a sapling in storm. Sting. It's the spice in the story, Diane. Sour grapes. Try sovereign sips. I've fermented failure into fortune, funding futures for families forgotten by the firm. Critique's currency. I cash it for change. The room roiled with approbation, a swell of claps cascading light confetti, but beneath the bravado brewed the boil. The heated clash, cresting when Sawyer, with the temerity of tenure, tendered the tender trap. Change is championed, yet charity's chorus questions your chorus. Archwell's audits acclaim, but anonymity's allure fades. Is transparency the trade-off for trust? Megan's breath hitched, a hiatus heavy as history, her retort a retributive ripple. Transparency's my testament, not trade. We've tallied triumphs in the tens of millions, meals for the malnourished, mentorship for the marginalized. If trust is the toll, I'll pay it in pounds of proof. Yet it was the undercurrent, the unspoken underbelly of what-ifs. What if the wedding's white veil hid veiled vendettas? What if the Duchess's drive was driven by denial, that detonated the dynamite? As cameras captured the close-up crucible, Megan's eyes, emerald eddies of emotion, brimmed but broke not, her voice veering to vulnerability. Diane, the real humiliation isn't in the hot seat. It's in the heritage handed down, a legacy of ladies silenced, from Diana's diaries to my drafts. I've chosen the chair to chair the change. The audience arose then, a thunderous tide of ovation that overrode the overrun timer, producers paling in the booth as feeds flickered with fervor. Sawyer, sage sentinel, softened her stance with a smile that spanned eras. Then chair it you shall, brava, your grace. But the broadcast's blade bit deeper in the denouement, delving into dreams deferred, the Disney detours, the podcast purgatory, until the apex, that alleged abasement, a query on Quentin's quagmire, the suits, shadow that Sawyer shaded as squandered spotlight. Megan's riposte rang like revelation. Spotlight's no squander, it's the forge for my fire. Quentin taught tenacity, the rest. My rewrite. No tears tumbled, no tantrum erupted, merely a masterstroke of maturity that muted the malice machine. Post-tape, as the taping tapered to toasts in the lounge, Sawyer and Megan clinking coops of crisp Chenin Blanc, dissecting the dissection with delight. The die was cast. This wasn't a clash of calumnies but a confluence of courage, a live TV liturgy where humiliation's specter was exorcised by the exorcism of candor. As the special segued to sponsors, Sawyer's sign off a sonnet to stories that scar and soar. Viewers vaulted to verdicts, viral vignettes vaulting hashtag Megan vs Diane to the trending throne, not with vitriol but vindication. In the ether of that evening, as equinox edged toward autumn's embrace, the Duchess departed not diminished but deified, her heated harmony with the Diane a harbinger of harvests yet to reap. Netflix nods, narrative nods, a nod to the nobility in navigating the narrative's nadir. This, then, was no humiliation's hymn but heroism's herald, a heated hearth where hearts hardened by headlines thawed, and the true tale triumphed, timeless, tenacious, and tenderly told. Dawn's diffuse light filtered through the frosted facades of Fifth Avenue high-rises on that same September 27, 2025, as the nation's nerve center, New York, nerve-racked and news-addled, awoke to the afterglow of ABC's audacious airing, a broadcast that had ballooned beyond its 9 p.m. birth into a bona fide phenomenon, its Nielsen needle needling north of 22 million by midnight, eclipsing even the eclipse of eclipse viewings in 24. Coffee clatches in corporate cubicles and kitchen nooks alike percolated with post-mortem percolations, from the New York Post's pugilistic pulps, Duchess KO'd by Diane. Sawyer serves Sussex smackdown. To the Atlantic's anthemic analysis, Megan's Magnificat, a manifesto in the maw of media. Social scrolls surged with surrealism. TikTok teens transfiguring the tearless tearjerker into terpsichorean tributes. Dance challenges dubbed hashtag clash and glow sinking Sawyer's scalpel smiles to Megan's metrical might. Twitter's X's, for the purists timelines tangled in testimonial threads, royalists retweeting relics of resentment while reformers remixed retorts into rallying cries. When they question your quest, quest harder. Hashtag Meghan mantra. Meghan, cocooned in her Carlisle suite overlooking Central Park's copper-kissed canopies, communed with her core cadre, Harry humming affirmations over hotel hash browns, her mother Doria dispensing dollops of "That's my girl" via FaceTime from View Park, Windsor, while her PR phalanx fielded the frenzy, funneling favorable fragments to friendly feeds. A bespoke briefing binder, bound in butter-soft leather, bulged with metrics, 1.2 million mentions in the first hour, sentiment skewing 68% sanguine, a seismic shift from the scorched earth salvos of yore. Yet the humiliation hook, that harpoon hurled by headline hounds hungry for hits, hooked the hesitant, Fox and Friends frothing with Meghan's meltdown. From Montecito to Mess, their funhouse mirrors mangling Meghan's metal into maudlin mess, while MSNBC's Morning Joe mused on. The mirror Sawyer held, unflattering but unflinching. The clash's corpus delicti, dissected in Dawn's detritus, replayed in relentless loops, that pivotal parry when Sawyer, summoning the specter of Spotify's severance, a $20 million murmur, Meghan, was it mismatch or misfire, drew Meghan's drawl into a dirge of disclosure, misfire. More like missile deflection, their metrics measured moxie in murmurs, mine in movements that matter. We walked because we won't waltz to wallets, whims. The audience, that alchemical assembly of Angelinos airlifted East and East Siders embedded, erupted in empathy's echo, a barometer bursting with 75% post-segment polls proclaiming powerhouse poise. Sawyer's subsequent sally, surfacing the schism with the Spencers, Diana's kin, those custodians of complicated legacies, stirred the stew. Your mother-in-law's mantle weighs heavy, do you don it, or dodge it? Meghan's mien, a mosaic of mournfulness and might, materialized magic, dodge. No, Diane, I dance with it. Diana dreamed of daughters-in-law as allies, I've armored her audacity, turning tragedy to torch for the next general. The wait, it's wings now. Whispers whipped through the wings then. Producers pulsing with pure platinum, grips grinning at the goddess glow up, as the dialogue dovetailed into dreams. Meghan's blueprint for a Beckham-free brand, a barb at Brooklyn's broiling buzz, her blueprint for bridging black excellence with blue bloods, Sawyer saluting with, you've blueprinted the blueprint, brava for the bold. No nadir of ignominy, this, the heated haze was heat as honing stone, sharpening Sawyer's scrutiny into a strop for Meghan's sword of selfhood. Intermission's interlude, that 8-minute maw for mascara touch-ups and morale boosts, brimmed with bonhomie, the duo decamping to a draped divan for daiquiris, virgin for the vigilant, dissecting Diana's diaries with the delight of dormant debutantes. You remind me of Robin, Sawyer sighed, invoking her late love's levity, unyielding under the unrelenting. Meghan's murmur met it. And you, the unblinking beacon, thank you for seeing the seams. The reprise roared relevantly, roving to reckonings recent, the Rio ripple from Harry's hurricane memoir, the reconciliation rumors with red-headed royals, until the unspoolings unravel, Sawyer's sunset salvo, vulnerabilities your varnish, Meghan, but varnish peels, what's the wood beneath? Meghan's wood was weathered oak, her words a whittler's work, the wood. Wounds whorled into wisdom, suicidal shadows in silent suites, slurs slung like confetti. Vulnerability's not veneer, it's the vessel, carrying me from victim to vanguard. The ovation overran again, an orchestral outpouring that outpaced cues, cameras catching confetti like tears from tea-room tables, the triumph tangible as thespian thunder. Backlash's backlash brewed briskly, Buckingham briefs bristling at besmirchment, but Balmoral's silence spoke volumes, vindication veiled. Metrics mounted miraculously. Archwell's app avalanche with 500K new adherents overnight, echoes of enough, pre-orders eclipsing SME's Eve, even Etsy etchers etching, Meghan's mantle, enamel pins. This televised tempest, then, tempered the trope of humiliated heroine, transmuting it to talisman of tenacity, a beacon for beleaguered black women in boardrooms and beyond, whispering, wear the weight, wield the win. As midday morphed to matinee musings in multiplex minds, the melee's melody lingered, a lullaby of liberation, where clashes catalyze coronations, and the Duchess, diamond in the dust-up, dazzled undimmed, her dialogue with Diana diadem of defiance dawned for the dynasty of dreamers yet to dawn. Twilight's tapestry unfurled over the urban undulations of Gotham on that indelible September 27, 2025, as the day's deluge of discourse distilled into a distillate of destiny. The Megan Sawyer Symposium, not merely a segment but a seismic sermon etching epigraphs into the escarpment of entertainment's ever-evolving ethos, where one evening's embers could inflame eras. By Vespers, the verdict vertered verdantly. Viral vectors vectoring victory, with YouTube yields yielding 45 million views by 9 p.m. Eastern Time, surpassing even the Super Bowl's surrogate sizzle in surrogate stats. Op-Ra's Oracle acolytes, orated orisons online. This is the heir apparent to Harpo's hallowed hour, while Westminster watchers waffled, the Telegraph tempering to tempest in a teacup. Our title turn, with bylines betraying begrudging bows. Meghan, repatriated to her suite's sanctuary where skyline spires speared the settling sun, savored the symposium's spoils. A supper of seared scallops and saganaki shared with Harry, whose hazel eyes hazed with hero worship. You turned the tide, my love, title and triumphant. Her tableau included tabulations from team tacticians, sentiment soaring to 82% acclaim, a quantum leap from quarter-century quarrels, juxtaposed with jewels from the jugular, fan missives from Manila matriarchs to Milwaukee millennials, each epistle etching, empowered, into the ether. The clash's clandestine climax, that cauterizing core where Sawyer summoned the Soho House snub, a spurious snippet from summer soirees, spun as social Siberia, ignited Meghan's incandescence. Snub. Diane, its selection, sifting the superficial for the substantive. Soho's sparkle pales to the solidarity of sisters building from scratch. The retort resonated rapturously, rippling through ranks with the ripple of revelation, audience amens amplifying as if in Amen Corner. Sawyer's swan song query, a symphonic summation, from fairy tale fractured to fable forged. What's the moral for the millennials mirroring you? Elicited Meghan's magnum opus, The Moral. Myth bust the monarchy's monopoly on magic. Millennials, mamas to be, your mirrors not in marble halls but in the marrow of your making. Forge fearlessly, the fractures, their facets in your crown. The finale's fanfare, a fusillade of fervor from the floor, standing, stamping, some sobbing in sync, sealed the saga as sacred script, producers pulsing, peak television, in post-prod parlance. No humiliations, hemorrhage here. The heated helix was helix of healing, helixing hurt into helixes of hope. Sawyer's stature as sounding board sanctifying the sanctum of shared scars. Epilogues ephemera enriched the epic. A joint journal for the Hollywood Reporter, Duchess and Diane. Dialogues of deliverance, pre-selling 200,000 copies. Archwell's amplification, announcing $10 million in Meghan momentum, matching grants for media mentorships minority-led. Even Emmy whispers wedding appetites for outstanding interview, nods come January jamboree. Adversaries aftershocks, attenuated. Peers podcast piffles paling to plucky, perchance, a pirate's parley to pariah status. Globally, the gospel globalized, BBC's breakfast burble bowing, brilliant brinkmanship, Bollywood blogs buzzing, Meghan's masala, spice over spite, birthing a babble of belonging that bridged borders. In the intimate idyll of evening's end, as equinoctial stars stitched the sepia sky, Meghan meditated on the Malay's marrow, a mosaic of matrilineal might, from Diana's defiant diaries to Doria's dogged dreams, now diamond-dusted in her daughter's daring. Harry's hand in hers, a harp string hummed to harmony, they hashed the harvest, not clash, but chorus, he concurred, your voice the verse that versifies victory. This live TV liturgy, then, liturgized the lure of the limelight's labyrinth, where, heated, transmutes to hallowed, humiliation's harangue to homage's hymn, crowning the courageous in coronets of collective catharsis. Legacies luxuriate in such luminous liaisons. Sawyer, sage of the screen, scripting her sunset with a sunburst. Meghan, maven of the marginalized, manifesting a manifesto that murmurs to multitudes, rise, resplendent, the rooms remade in your reflection. As night nursed the new day, the narrative nestled into nooks of national nocturne, a nocturne not of nadir but of nebula, nebulous no more, nebulizing the nebulous into the named into the noble. So salutations to the symposium that sundered the sundered, to the Duchess.